Hi, everybody. Um, Thanks for tuning in today. I asked on social media some suggestions on videos that I should make, and I appreciate all the feedback that I got. I have a lot of ideas and videos that are in the making and will probably be up over the course of the next couple months, really. So stay tuned. Today, I wanted to share probably one of the most appropriate first videos I should make, and that's really my journey to finance and why and how I pursued a career in education as a financial advisor. So I wrote this probably 6, 7 months ago. Um, and yeah, I'm going to read it again for you guys, and hopefully you like it. This is just the story of me and how I am doing what I'm doing now. So about a year ago, I did some serious self-reflection. I guess working from home due to a pandemic has its benefits. I caught myself seriously contemplating my goals for my future and where I wanted my career to go. Ultimately, I was led to think about my original purpose for pursuing an education and career in finance. So here's my journey. When I was in my senior year in high school, about 10 years ago now, I was able to take the first personal finance course ever offered at my high school. I took it out of curiosity, and because it was one of a few different options for a certain subject requirement that I don't even recall now. Early on in the course, everything just clicked. I realized through the course of that class that I wasn't just good at finance, I really enjoyed it. I realized it was probably one of the most important classes I could have ever taken. I knew then that I would do all I could to get an education and career in finance. One of the most important realizations during the time of taking the class was that of the lack of knowledge those closest to me had. Specifically, I caught myself thinking that I wish my parents had known a lot of the things that I was learning. Neither of them have college education, and for a long time, it seemed like financial stability was an almost unattainable goal for them. However, now they're doing a whole lot better. So even though I was only in high school, I wasn't aloof to the hardships my parents had gone through up to that point. They moved our young family across country after my younger sister was just born, to Las Vegas. And my dad juggled a handful of jobs at one time in order to provide for our family. And my mom would trade off with my aunt, her sister, in watching her two kids and my sister and I, while one of them would be doing cleaning and cooking jobs. So even at some point, I was even lucky enough to have my mom work at the elementary and middle schools that I attended in Las Vegas. Only a couple of years after moving to Cedar City, Utah, the company my dad had worked for and why we moved there in the first place went out of business. Of course, that was right during the recession. And that was a stressful time for my parents. They did a good job of keeping their stress and anxious feelings between themselves, but I've always been a fairly observant person. And I knew that it was taking a toll on them, on their mental and emotional well-being. Ultimately, they were forced with the decision of either having to move to a different state or something else, they had to move to a different state again if something else for my dad didn't come up. Luckily, he was able to find work, and we were able to stay where we were for a few more years. Now, in high school, I always had a part-time job. I had learned from my parents that if I wanted something for myself, I would have to work for it. I worked and saved to serve a mission for my church after high school. And actually, I was called to serve in Argentina, so I lived there for 2 years. And so while living abroad and learning a new language and serving and teaching people, my parents decided to move back to Minnesota. And that's where I'm at now. So upon my return from Argentina, back at the end of 2013, I was lucky enough to find a full-time job with a bank and finally get my career rolling in finance. Now, I was working full-time. I was also going to school full-time. I took general courses through 2 different community colleges for 2 years before transferring to the University of Minnesota, where I completed my bachelor's degree in economics. I worked for a couple of great people at two different banks, and I learned a lot of stuff from them, and still talk with them to this day. It's been great relationships built there. Inevitably, school schedules and work schedules didn't align, so I was forced to find work elsewhere in order to put me through school. I worked for the next year, or my last year, so my senior year of college. I worked between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. on weekdays at FedEx Freight, driving forklifts and loading and unloading heavy material onto and off of trailers. During the summer, it was brutally hot and humid, and in the winter, it was bone chilling. Definitely have to give a shout out to those who do it, because it's not easy. But this allowed me to finish my time at the U of M by May of 2018. So that's when I graduated with my bachelor's. Now, having to work full time through my college years ultimately held me back in not allowing me to get an internship experience in the right career for me. I wasn't lucky enough to get scholarships or grants. And living off campus was cheaper than living on campus. I couldn't get enough student loans to support me through college. And I was truly unhappy and discouraged with my career prospects during my senior year. So through a lot of faith and prayer and networking, I was ultimately led to pursue an MBA degree through the University of St. Thomas. I was accepted into the full-time MBA program at St. Thomas, and I started the fall of 2018. I graduated December of 2019, so just over a year ago. And honestly, I couldn't have gone through that program without the support of my amazing wife, Megan. She supported both of us by working multiple jobs so that I could earn an advanced degree and someday, hopefully, get a good job to provide for us. During my time at St. Thomas, I did all I could to get an internship in the investment industry. I thought that since I didn't like sales and having people micromanage everything I did, I'd like a career in investment banking or research of some sort. I thought that the back office type of job was more my speed. I didn't end up getting an internship until the very last week of my second semester in the MBA program. I caught a lucky break. I caught a lucky break in getting a job at an investment bank in Minneapolis. And upon graduating, I was actually brought on full-time as an equity research associate. Now, as I alluded to in the beginning, I had done a lot of self-reflection once the pandemic started and made me work from home. And I realized that my original intention and purpose for pursuing an education and career in finance was to help other people with their financial well-being. After all, after everything I've been through, if I haven't seen how much of a necessity and understanding of finance is, then what was it all for? I feel that it's my calling in life to help others know and gain control of their own financial well-being. I don't want people to have to worry themselves sick about finances. I want to help people build a good financial foundation and not have to worry about all the what ifs in life involving money. I want to be a guide. I want to be that guide and lifeline to those that need it and want it. This is the story of why I became a financial advisor and how I began working with Mutual of Omaha. Hopefully, well, thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you liked it, and that's me. That's a brief history of why I'm doing what I'm doing. Thanks.